Is your child struggling with self-esteem and you're wondering what can you do to help? Then don't go anywhere because in this episode, I'm going to be sharing with you one thing you can actually do. Hey, welcome back to Parenting Hacks with Dr. Yanina. Thank you so much for watching. And if you watched last week's episode, you know that I was sharing with you horrible statistics when it comes to depression and when it comes to self-esteem. And, we as parents, we want to help our children. And you learned last week that self-esteem is not something that you can just ignore, that our kids will grow out of it, because that's not necessarily true, which is why I'm going to be devoting the next 3 episodes to share with you 3 things you can do to help your child improve their self-esteem. So in this week's episode, I'm going to be focusing on the whole concept of excellence versus perfection. And I don't know about you, but I'm one of those that are perfectionists. And for the past 3 to 4, maybe 4 years, I have been reteaching myself that this world is not perfect. The whole idea about everything being perfect is quite unhealthy. And one of the things that have helped me a lot is that now I focus on being an excellent person versus a perfect person. And why am I sharing this with you? Because oftentimes our children struggle with the idea that in order for them to be the best they can be, they have to be perfect. And when things don't go perfect, then they assume that they're not good enough. And when they assume that they're not good enough, then they start struggling with self-esteem. So it's very, very important that even at a young age, and it doesn't matter the age that they are now, that they know that perfection is not always attainable, but excellence is. And as moms, we can remind our children day after day that they don't have to be perfect to be loved, that they don't have to be perfect to be accepted, that you're not expecting that they are perfect, that you're not expecting perfection, that you're expecting that they do their best, that you're expecting that whatever they do it with all they can and with excellence. That we all make mistakes. I make mistakes. You make mistakes. We all make mistakes. But mistakes are mistakes. They are the result of the decision we make. That doesn't mean that we are a mistake, that we are a failure. So it's the whole idea of teaching our children that mistakes, that failure, that those are results of actions and decisions that we make, that they don't define us. Well, instead of allowing them to define us, that we learn from them. That we teach our children that mistakes are basically, or failures are basically, the result of our decision. And they are actually a learning experience. And what did I learn from this? They will ask you probably, then you will say, you learn what not to do again. You learn that what that decision that you made is not the best one. You learn that that's not working out, that we need to find other solutions. We need to find other ways of doing things. That mistakes and failures are actually learning moments. And one thing that I would suggest is that you share personal examples of situations in which you made a mistake and you learned from it, and that you decided that you will not allow that mistake to define who you are. So it's always good that our children see that we also go through those struggles, but the difference is that we want to teach them how we were able to overcome those struggles and not allow that mistake to define who we are. So it's very important that you do share some personal examples with them. And one thing that I really want you to be very, very careful is that you need to watch what you say around your children, especially those put downs. So if you tend to put yourself down in front of your children, well, then of course your children are going to be more sensitive about self-esteem issues, because if they see that you have self-esteem issues, they will probably struggle with self-esteem themselves. So be very, very careful what you say in front of them, and never ever put yourself down in front of your children. Unless you're doing it in a joke, in a joking manner, that, oh, I can't believe I made that mistake. But don't make it like something that you do over and over again, that they start believing that you are having some self-esteem issues. And one more thing I want to share with you before I go is that to do whatever is necessary to avoid harsh or accusatory comments when they make mistakes. If they make a mistake, Please don't tell them I told you so. That's not going to help. That's not going to teach them how to make better decisions. No, on the contrary, that is going to affect their self esteem, because when you say, I told you so, you're kind of confirming their idea that they have that they're not good enough, that they're not able to do things right. So be careful what you say. Instead of saying harsh or accusatory comments, just leave them up. Just say, you know what? Let's see what we can do to fix this. Let's see what we can do to make it better. Things like that. And don't say, I told you so. That's not good. If you can, please just get it out of your vocabulary. It's not healthy at all. So, to sum it up, is the whole idea of teaching our children that excellence is always attainable, but perfection is not. So, let's focus on being excellent. Let's focus on being our best and be willing to make mistakes so you can learn from them, instead of saying that mistakes are something horrible, that mistakes are a failure. So there you have it, tip number 1. So keep an eye on my next 2 episodes, in which I'm going to be sharing 2 more tips to help your child who's struggling with self-esteem to overcome these self-esteem issues. And if you don't want to miss those 2 tips, please, please, please subscribe to my YouTube channel so you don't miss out on any of my future episodes. And if you are watching me through IGTV, make sure that you follow me so you do not miss on these episodes either. Until next week, have a wonderful time. Bye.